Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video I'm going to be giving you my player ratings from Manchester United's 3-0 win against FC Sheriff at Old Trafford in the Europa League. So we'll start with the man between the sticks, David De Gea, going to give him a 6 out of 10. Don't recall him having to make a save in the game. Moving on to Diego Dalot, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Dalot scored a near-post header that came from a Christian Eriksen corner. It was Dalot's second goal for the club. He also made some good runs in the game. He got forward well. He's enjoyed a lot of good games this season. He's Manchester United's first choice right back under Ten Hag. He was also our first choice right back when we had Rangnick. There's no way back now for Wan-Bissaka in the team. Earlier on this season anyway, Wan-Bissaka had an injury. Moving on to Victor Lindelof, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Looked well composed at the back and he played well alongside Lisandro Martinez. Lindelof obviously started ahead of Varane because Varane is not available at the moment. He's out with a thigh injury. Varane came off injured in the 1-1 draw with Chelsea, went off the pitch in tears. And it's said that Varane's likely to miss the first World Cup match. Maguire was an option as well to start, but obviously we decided to go with Lindelof. Lisandro Martinez, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He put a very good performance out at the back. He's made an impact since he come to Manchester United. Moving on to Tyrell Malacia, he's going to get a 7 out of 10. I thought he looked good on the ball. Made some good runs. Obviously started ahead of Luke Shaw. Tyrell Malacia started, games this season. Moving on to Casemiro, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Weren't his best performance, but I still thought he did alright. Looked very efficient in that midfield. Casemiro, as you all know, scored his first goal for the club in the 1-1 draw with Chelsea last weekend. He rescued a point for Man United. He scored an injury time header. And you can tell that it meant a lot to Casemiro. Moving on to Christian Eriksen, I will give him a 7 out of 10. He did provide the assist for Diego Dalot's opening goal. Eriksen has made an impact since he come to Manchester United. Moving on to Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought his passing was good. He looked good when he had the ball. And he played a part in Ronaldo's goal. Moving on to Marcus Rashford. Well, sorry, not Rashford. He come off the bench, didn't he? Moving on to Antony. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Average performance by him. As you all know, Antony got taken off at half time. Apparently Erik Ten Hag was furious with Antony. Obviously, since Antony became a Manchester United player, he's scored 3 goals. Manchester United got Antony for €100 million. That equates to 86 million in pounds sterling. He's Man United's second most expensive signing ever, and he's the fourth most expensive signing in Premier League history. Moving on to Jadon Sancho, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Cristiano Ronaldo, going to give him a 7 out of 10. Ronaldo did score on his return. It was his 701st career goal for Man. Ronaldo should have had more than one goal because he had several chances. There was one chance that he missed from close range, produced a save from the FC Sheriff goalkeeper. As you all know, Ronaldo missed the 1-1 draw with Chelsea last weekend as a punishment for refusing to come on as a substitute in the game against Tottenham at Old Trafford. Don't forget, Ronaldo stormed down the Old Trafford tunnel before full time, and immediately after that, Erik ten Hag said he would deal with Ronaldo. Not so long ago, Ronaldo was at Carrington and he had showdown talks with Erik ten Hag over his Man United future. Manchester United brought substitutions on in the game. We saw Rashford come on. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Marcus Rashford scored a header, which came from a cross from Luke Shaw from the left wing. Rashford is enjoying a very good season to his standards. Just needs to be a bit more clinical in front of goal. We saw Luke Shaw come on in the game. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. He provided the assist for Marcus Rashford's headed goal. Luke Shaw's done well in the last, 3 or 4 games. Don't forget he had an injury earlier on this season. We saw McTominay come on. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Van der Beek also came on in the game. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. And Manchester United brought someone else on in the game as well. Garnacho, by the way, forgot to mention him. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he did really well on his full debut. I think I got mistaken earlier. I think it was Garnacho that started ahead of Jadon Sancho. So yeah, so I'll give Garnacho 7 out of 10. So that is your player ratings for Manchester United's 3-0 win against FC Sheriff at Old Trafford. Reflecting on the win, Manchester United have qualified for the Europa League knockout stages. Man United still have 1 game remaining in the group, that is Real Sociedad away. In the group, Man United have won 4 games out of 5. I read stats of the game against FC Sheriff. Manchester United had 24 shots and we registered 10 shots on target, so in reality we should have had more than 3 goals. As you all know, Manchester United do play West Ham today. The game kicks off very soon. West Ham, they won their last game against Saintborg 1-0 in the Europa League. West Ham are doing really well at home. They've won 6 games at home in all competitions. West Ham do not have a good record though at Old Trafford. The last time they won at Old Trafford in the Premier League was back in 2007, which is around 15 years ago. West Ham did win at Old Trafford last season in the Carabao Cup 1-0. Man United beat West Ham at Old Trafford in the league last season 1-0. Obviously today, David Moyes will be reuniting with Manchester United. David Moyes, of course, he's in his second spell as West Ham manager. Moyes has been the West Ham manager in his second spell since December 2019. So he's been the West Ham manager for almost 3 years. He's under contract to West Ham until 2024. He signed a 3-year deal last year. The season before last, Moyes guided West Ham to a 6th place finish. So he obviously got them to the Europa League. Obviously Moyes didn't do well in his first spell at West Ham. He ended up getting sacked. And before Moyes managed Real Sociedad, I think he got sacked from them. Before managed Sunderland, he got Sunderland relegated. So reflecting on that, he got sacked. Obviously, he was at Man United for around 9 or 10 months, only enjoyed a short managerial tenure at Man United. Man United finished 7th under the David Moyes era. Obviously, before Moyes was at Everton, he did well at Everton. He was a long-serving manager at Everton. He enjoyed around 11 years with them, and before managed Preston. So they're the clubs he's managed in his managerial career so far. The players West Ham have got, they've got the likes of Scamacca, who's made an impact at West Ham. You know, he's been a good signing for them so far. I think he'll be playing today. They got Jared Bowen as well. He's been out with injury, but he was recently back in training. Pablo Fornals is a good attacking player. Maxwell Cornet, he's been out with injury. Mikel Antonio. Craig Dawson, West Ham got him from Watford. He's out with injury. Vladimir Coufal is a good midfielder. Declan Rice, he's predominantly a holding midfielder, but he can also be deployed as a centre-back. Man United were in for Declan Rice for a long time. At one point, Moyes said he valued Declan Rice at 100 million. He's not worth 100 million. I reckon he's worth between 50 to 60 million. He's Declan Rice. Thomas Soucek, he's very good. Lanzini. Harrison Ashby. Connor Coventry. Flynn Downs. Aaron Cresswell, he's a good left back for West Ham. Angelo Ogbonna is a good defender. Kurt Zouma, he's a former Chelsea player. Emerson, West Ham got him from Chelsea. Obviously the goalkeepers West Ham have got, they've got Lucas Fabianski, Darren Randolph and Areola. So they are a lot of the players that West Ham have got. Let me put into the equation that they have lost players. They let Issa Diop go to Fulham. They loaned Nikola Vlasic out. They let Yarmolenko go as a free agent. They also lost Ryan Fredericks. A few years ago lost Sebastian Haller, but quite clearly he wasn't good enough when he was at West Ham, even though he did score goals. Mark Noble's no longer at West Ham. Well, he was too old anyway. Did he retire or did he go to another club? I can't remember. So yeah. So anyway, I will be on for my match reaction later on. So anyway guys, that's everything to update with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.